NYS. And the mayor's office have been working hard with EGA architects to polish the architectural design and site plan for 59 Low Street. And we have put together a design development set, which we want to show to you tonight. This will get us one step closer to a new youth and recreation center, hopefully at 59 Low Street in Newburyport, directly across the street from the Knockmolin School. So just a note on process, tonight is the first of 2 community meetings that we intend to present to show you the design development of the project to date. We will be submitting a communication to the City Council packet in their next meeting, so there'll be a second opportunity to have a community meeting alongside the City Council to give us another opportunity to get feedback from the community. As I said, this is a design, we're at 100% design development for this project right now. These are not construction documents, which means that we do not have a bid set ready to go out yet. We are still going to be seeking community input from you all and the City Council in the coming weeks. We do intend later in February, after the vote of the Whittier Building Project, to submit to City Council a bond order and a zoning request as well, which are 2 imperative votes that the City Council will have to support to move this project forward. So tonight we'll be giving an introduction and a project overview. We have a very exciting 3D walkthrough that will show you what the building's going to look like on the inside and the outside, and then we'll have plenty of time for questions. So with me tonight, I have Scott Hall from EGA Architects. He has been working on the architectural plans. I have Andy Egmont, who is the Director of Recreation and Youth Services. And I am Kim Turner. I am the Manager of Special Projects in the Mayor's Office. Just a brief history of this project. This project began several years ago when it became clear that the Brown School was no longer a viable option for NYS. Since then, the city has considered over a dozen other options for a youth center that included Cushing Park, Fulton Pit, Colby Farm Lane, and the former Enpro site. It was identified that 59 Low Street was the best option for a youth and recreation center based on several factors, which included the location and its proximity to schools and ways for children to get there, the space that was provided to support the programmatic elements, parking, accessibility, connections to utilities, cost, and environmental impacts. So again, 59 Low Street, we felt was the best spot for this youth and recreation center. In early 2022, the city purchased 59 Low Street from DCAM for $220,000. A couple of months later, in May of 2022, we filed an RDA with the Conservation Commission. This was an important step because we defined the wetland boundaries to make sure that the site program could fit outside of the constraints of the wetland buffer zone. We then, in September of 2022, hired EGA architects to compile a schematic design, and then they have moved forward with the design development set along with cost estimates. And that's helped get us to the point where we are now advancing the project forward. I'm going to hand it over to Scott Hall now.
Hi, I'm Scott Hall from EGA Architects. I'm a principal at the firm. I'm really happy to be here, and I want to thank Kim and Andy, and in particular Andy's staff, for helping us develop this design that we've come up with over the past several months. I'm going to briefly talk about some of the things we took into consideration in creating the design for the building, and then we can move into the 3D walkthrough so you can see what the space would actually look like. So there were 3 or 4 priorities that we came up with for the initial design concept. The first was we were going to use the existing building that's on the site.
Broke it.
So the first priority was we were going to use the existing building on the site, which is about 5,000 square feet. It's a masonry building. And the idea was to maximize the use of that space and make it as flexible as possible. The second, we knew that we wouldn't be able to fit their full program in that existing building. So from the very early on, we realized that we were going to need a small addition to facilitate the full program. And then we also added the modular gym onto the project. The third priority was we wanted to maximize the amount of parking on the site, as well as creating 2 curb cuts that would allow for easy access into and out of the site for drop-off of participants for the various activities. The last was the location of the gym that we've rotated at an angle that matches roughly the angle of the street, of Low Street. And the purpose was it allowed us to maximize the size of the gym and get a full-size middle school court, basketball court to fit inside the building and meet all the setback and wetlands boundaries that are on the site. In terms of the existing building, we also wanted to maximize the use of the existing conditions in the building. Right now, the building has 2 concrete masonry walls inside the building that sort of break it up into 3 pieces. And rather than demolish those, spend the money to demolish those walls, we use those as an organizing principle to create 3 sort of distinct spaces. Towards the street is the early education area, which is bounded by the exterior wall and by one of these masonry walls. And then in the center of the administrative, in the existing building, is an administrative suite with 4 offices, a multi-purpose space, an art / STEM and maker space, and the last space is a study space. And the study space and the hangout space at the right side of the plan are also segregated by one of these existing walls. So we really try to use the existing building as much as possible. The other thing we were able to do is reuse all of the existing window openings. So we did not have to move any existing windows, which is going to help us reduce the costs. In terms of the central area of the building, the new addition, it made the most sense to locate the public toilets in this area because there'll be a great deal of underground plumbing work that's required for that. So being a new addition, we can do all that underground plumbing work without having to tear up an existing slab inside the existing building. It also works from the standpoint that it's centrally located, so it has good access from both the gym as well as the existing building. Also in that central new addition is a storage space to the rear and the lobby and vestibule to the fore. The modular gym, again, has a full-size court. We also added a awning to the exterior of the building that will allow for participants to egress out of the door and be out of the rain while they're waiting to be picked up and dropped off for various events. And at this point, I think it makes sense to do the walkthrough so you can see what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely the shortest of the 3 of us. I have to look over the computer. I want to say thank you again for everybody who's come out. This is really nice. I see a lot of faces of people who've been involved in this process for many years, from some of the feasibility studies to site and now to be at this point is so exciting. As Scott talked about, the design is really incredibly specific to the needs of the department, and we're very happy with it. So just a little bit about how the building would support our work. Again, when we talk about this location, we talk a lot about it being a centralized location. This is a really major issue of being central for young people to be able to get to us independently, but also it just is easier for families to get to from all parts. And obviously, the location around the corner from the high school, across from 4th to 8th grade, and down the street from River Valley, also makes it an amazing location for that reason. The building is designed for recreation and enrichment programs. As Scott said, you'll see in the walkthrough, but we have expanded. So this building, as we're thinking about it now, we're thinking about all age groups, what that would look like and how the spaces could be used and the flexibility. I do want to talk about the youth center. I think one of the pieces that is really important for people to understand is that as you look at creating a space, our middle and high school young people are considered the most at risk for getting involved in high-risk behaviors, right? It's an age where they might be exploring or experimenting, and it's the age group that we really want to connect with the most. So we have to develop a space that is separate enough that they don't feel they've grown up in it. Because if you are 14, 15, you don't want to be going back to the same space that you were going to when you were 7 or 8, because that's a little kid space. So the design, when Scott talked about it being separated, that's very purposeful. We want that teen space to feel like a teen space that kids will get to go to when they're old enough. So you'll see that during the walkthrough as well. I think another piece is our registration numbers. I cannot give enough credit to my staff for pivoting and trying to create programming in 100 different locations without a space, without a gym for the last 2 years. And they've done an amazing job at doing that. But this space is really designed to let us rebuild and be able to expand our programs and bring back some programs. For those of you who don't know, just the gym alone, a daytime gym was a huge feeder for our programs. We were at the Brown School with heat. We had about 250 families that used our preschool open gym. That was 3 days a week during the winter where families could bring their little kids to be somewhere, socialize, meet other people, and it got them in the door to learn about us and everything that we had to offer their kids. And that's been one of the major losses for us. So, we're hopeful that it will allow us to to bring back things that we were doing as well as expand some others. And then the last is flexibility. All of the spaces were really designed in a way that we thought about all the different things that they could be used for. I'm really excited to show the walkthrough. Not only somebody else just saw it today and they said, this is like super high-tech walkthrough. I said, it is. This is amazing. So we did want to make sure that we had some youth voices involved. So we do have a narration of the video from some of our youth council members who are here. And then I'm really here to answer questions. So afterwards, we will, first start with questions about the design and the space, and then we can go on to other questions about the project. So please enjoy this exciting piece.
Hi, I'm Benjamin, and I'm 12 years old.
Hi, I'm Sophie, and I'm 13 years old.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I'm 14 years old.
This shot gives you like an overview of where the building is in Newburyport. It shows where everything is. We have a new gym, we're renovating the building, and we're even adding like a new outside space. So we're gonna renovate this building. It's already here. We're gonna add a new gym and a new addition. There's gonna be a patio and half court in the back, and even an early ed play space. There's a big lawn to do more activities, and there's a new parking lot so more parents can be there. This is where everything is. You might notice that we have a lot of different stuff. We're right across from the Knock Middle School, which is a great location because kids won't have to walk or take the bus all the way to the rec center. Now we're going inside the lobby.
This is the gym area we use for lots of activities like basketball, tennis. A lot of people have been loving Gaga Ball recently, so you could do an indoor one in the winter, and there's some storage closets.
This is the, instead of just being NYS, we're Recreation Center and Youth Services, so we have space for everyone.
This expansion allows us to serve more families of Newburyport and now gives us the resources to be a bigger safe space for even more young people.
This is the early education space. We have a family-friendly bathroom right next to it. This is for all the kids from infant to 2nd grade. This is a fun place for them to hang out and do all of their play groups and activities. This is their outside space. It's fenced in, very safe, and it's just an appropriate space for them. And for them to have fun and just socialize, hang out, and get to know the building. We have lots of activities for them in here, including, like, I think there's monkey aces.
This is the office spaces. This is where a majority of our staff will be. This is where parents can come and meet the staff personally to register for the activities that we have had in the past and the new ones that we can now offer in our new space. Lots of room.
This will be our multi-purpose room. It can be used for many things like dance classes, yoga, all those like extra things. Obviously why it's called a multi-purpose room. And over here is the art room / the kitchen. I know our newer 6th graders have been loving the baking stuff and the cooking, and they've also been a really big fan of doing art crafts with our staff.
This space now we can do all the projects that we need to and have all the storage for supplies, and now we can offer more things with this new space, which will be very beneficial for us.
This is the study room. It can be used for homework, and later or earlier in the day, you can use it for like conferences. Youth council might meet here because we need a good space to meet.
This is the room we are most excited to talk about, as this is a room that we will be using most frequently.
Yeah, this is the teen hangout room. There's offices for the staff that work here. There's a pool table in the corner. And there's even like a really big storage unit for us to store pretty much anything.
There's a big movie screen so we can do our movie nights, and lots of comfy places to sit and just hang out.
The design is like really sleek. I love this design for a building. It seems very fun. This is the game room, where we can have kids just socialize over a game. and play pretty much whatever they want. This is back down the hallway that we just came in. There's the study. There's lots of different sized cubbies and lockers for kids to store their stuff.
This is our brand new outside area. There's a lot of space, which is going to be awesome for us. So all the kids can get their energy out, and we're going to be able to do so much more with this new space.
So all in all, it's a really good building, and I think NYS could put it to a great use.
We are going to put it to a great use.
This is another overview of the building and just what's here and where everything is.
Shout out to the council. My name is Benjamin too. Great job. The capacity you talked about being able to support, talked about some of the numbers of families at the Brown School utilizing the gym. Do you have hard numbers for perhaps programs that you have set up in the space that would be your capacity?
Yeah, so the full capacity of the building is about 530 people. The gym,
About 250, 60 somewhere.
yeah, it's around 250 for just the gymnasium. So when we have dances, events like that right now, that's about the number we had at the Brown School as well. So we feel really comfortable, like that's right where we want to be. Yeah. Other questions, please.
I have a couple of questions regarding the gym. You refer to it as a modular middle school size gym. Can you define what a modular type construction is? And in comparison to the current middle school gym, high school gym, the Brown School gym, how do you relate that size to the others?
Yeah, the Brown School gym is, I think, the closest, size-wise, but also design-wise. So you'll notice there is not areas for bleachers, right? It's really limited. It's pretty limited as far as space outside the basketball court. But as far as the modular gym, I'll let.
Yeah, so a modular gym is basically a way of constructing a building where a lot of the components are prefabricated off-site. There's a steel skeleton that wall panels are attached to. So it's a very economical way to build a large structure with a huge span. And it's about 50 feet wide, so that's a pretty good span for a building.
And with respect to the size of the court itself, because I believe that anticipates adult recreation using that gym, how do you compare that to the size of the playing surface of the other gyms?
As far as, so right now, like the Newburyport Boys Basketball Association uses different gyms for different age groups, as they would. And so this would be similar, adults and would play in it. I mean, it's the gym we have. So I think it could be used for a variety of ages. It's just a slightly smaller court than if you're gonna play a full blown one.
But let's say in comparison to the high school gym, is it 80% smaller? 20% smaller or size?
It is smaller, but it's not significantly smaller. It's almost, it's not radically different than the high school size court.
And I believe the court's actually the same size as the Bresnahan. The actual court, not the gym, but the court is the same as what's in the Bresnahan now.
And what about comparison to the Brown School?
It's about the same.
Same size as the
Yeah.
Brown School?
So we know that the old guys basketball group, they're just fine playing on that size court.
So you could say that it should be more than, be more than adequate for adult recreation.
Yeah, absolutely. We can put 3 pickleball courts in it in the winter. That's what we did at the Brown. Yeah, so no, but when we were at the Brown School, we did have pickleball during the day. And so we anticipate that would be, we'd bring that back as well. And they were able to fit 3 courts inside the basketball court. Other questions about the design? Oh, okay, hold on.
When will the building process start and how long will it take?
Like, how long would it take to build? Is that what you're asking? Or like from now till?
From start to finish? Like approximately?
It would take about 12 to 14 months to build.
About the art space and the team hangout space and the gym, just thinking back to the Brown School, it was one of those older gyms where you had the stage on one side. Is that seen as something that was not used that much? Or?
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't, we would have loved to be able to put that in. For those of you that saw when we had like an A, B, and C, this really, we had to take some things out that we wanted, and the stage is one of them. However, when you saw the teen area with the large screen, that's designed to be able to put up risers and create a small, like if we wanted to have some bands, you know, have a teen jam band or, you know, coffee house type thing, that's designed so that we could rearrange the room easily to create that space in there. Did somebody have?
Couple questions. No basement, is that right?
There's no basement, no.
And then I'm just thinking about when we opened the Hope Community Church. You know, we did this whole design, so that was about the year 2000, and then, you know, within a very few years, we found out some ADA things that we hadn't included, and one of them was kitchen counters. So I'm just kind of want to make sure. I'm
Absolutely.
assuming.
So ADA is a big part was a big part of our process, asking all of those questions. I love that it's single level. There's, as far as being accessible that way, and we talked about the counters being able to be at wheelchair accessible level, but it's also designed for different age groups, so there's going to be variety of those things anyways. So I think it'll be a really natural fit for that, but it was everything, I mean, I think we addressed it in every way we could.
Yes, the building is fully handicap accessible.
And then one other thing that was sort of along those lines was you know, we also didn't do the appropriate hand sink as opposed to the produce sink and stuff like that.
So we don't have a commercial kitchen in here, so it doesn't have the same requirements. When we are teaching or doing that, there are 2 sinks in that room. If we are doing a cooking class, it's more of cooking activities that happen in the youth center. The kids want to be able to cook something and do something together, so it's designed more that way. When we do want to do larger cooking classes, we use the nutrition room at the high school or the senior center kitchen, because those are both designed for those larger projects.
What about any sidewalks or infrastructure improvements along the roadway?
Sure. So right now, there's a sidewalk that runs, you can see from the picture behind me, across the front of the building, actually around the back. And then the thinking is that there would be a singular access crossing point across Low Street to get to the Knox Middle School. And we are incorporating into our cost estimates, which will again go to a future city council packet, to include a crossing signal and traffic safety on Low Street.
This pavement that's there, is that, what is that? Looks like pavement sort of in front of the building?
That's Low Street.
It is. Just following on to that, I don't think there's a sidewalk on the River Valley side of the street.
No.
Is there a plan to put something in?
As of right now, we're not including in these cost estimates a sidewalk all the way down to the River Valley Charter School. However, we are working with consultants to look at traffic safety further down Low Street, not just at the new Colby Farm intersection, but further down. But for this scope of this project, we're trying to get kids safely across from the Knock Middle to the recreation center.
So if they were at River Valley, they would cross and come down.
Exactly.
And then cross.
Yeah, because there's a safe cross at River Valley. They would, again, like Andy just said, cross over there and then cross back over.
Is there going to be any sort of fence for the kind of backyard lawn area?
No, I mean, the intent there is that there's wetlands immediately behind this lawn space that we're showing. So, I mean, we sort of saw it as a way to engage youth with different types of ecosystems. So no, there wasn't intended to be a fence back there right now, just an open sort of space.
And I just want to mention too, along the lines of the wetlands, if you drive by there tomorrow, the back of that basketball, that half court, is actually where the existing driveway ends. So this, other than the corner of the gym, this is really only on the area that's already being used for the driveway and the existing building. Does that make sense? I feel like I said a lot of words. Okay.
Another lesson that we learned from building from scratch in that area were the swales, and we really had a lot of trouble with that. Is that accounted for?
So we're working with our city engineer to sort of conceptually plan the stormwater management here. We've done test pits, we know what the soils are, so all the stormwater management here is going to be surface stormwater management, so there will be swales that will feed into the already wet areas. We're actually going to be improving the holding capacity of stormwater on the site, and working with Conservation Commission to make sure that perhaps eradicating some of the invasives in the wetlands and making that system healthier and functioning in a better way.
Aside from major infrastructure such as sidewalks along the south side of Road Street, I think we do have to just look at traffic safety, traffic calming. The speed limit for some reason on parts of Low Street are 35, and that is becoming a neighborhood of youth-focused entities. Multiple schools, the daycare is right there as well, the practice fields. So kind of focusing it a little bit on the neighborhood, we drop speed limits as the safest crossings possible.
Right.
If you talk to the crossing guards, they witness stories every day, closer calls than we'd probably like. It'd be nice if teenagers could just ride their bike. There's not currently a bike lane along there.
Right. So as Kim said, there is a study that goes from the Colby Lane development. I'm not sure what that's, is that what it's called? Okay. Down, and so if you look at what happened on High Street and the Safe Routes to School that redid things and made intersections safer, they're looking at all of those options. I do want to recognize Senator Bruce Tarr, who just came in, who has been a big supporter, and the guy next to him, my boss, Mayor Reardon, also came in. Thank you guys both for coming up. Any other questions? All right, so we're going to open up any other project questions.
Yeah. How do you plan for energy efficiency? Will there be solar? Are you tied into all the new federal and state incentives for installation of electric utilities?
Well, not just federal and state, but for those of you who don't know, Newburyport actually passed an ordinance that all new construction needs to be as close to net zero as possible. So that was a huge consideration that was over my head, so I'm going to let them.
Hi, we've been trying to incorporate as much as we can in terms of energy efficiency into the building. We've been meeting with National Grid and with the city. There's some things I can highlight that we're doing. We're using all high-efficiency aluminum storefront glazing throughout the project. We have highly insulated walls inside of the existing building. Right now, there's very little to no insulation in the building at all. We will be building new stud walls around the perimeter and then filling those walls with foam insulation to make to get the walls as insulated as we can. We'll be putting close to R60 insulation in all of the roofs. The latest energy code that's been issued by the state it's gotten much more stringent over the years. And so it's really reached a point where just to meet the energy code, we have to provide a highly efficient building. So we will be doing that. We also have R20 or 4 inches of foam insulation under the slab in the gym and in the new addition to further reduce heat loss in the building. We have all electric heat pumps for the mechanical system, so there's no natural gas or propane used in the building. We have an energy recovery ventilation system, so it's a highly efficient ventilation system for the building. So we recover the heat that is used to heat the space. We can recover that and reuse it to heat new air that comes in from outside. And so it's highly efficient, about 90% to 95% efficient. We have electric water heaters. The building will be solar panel ready. We are not, at least in this phase of the project, we are not actually installing the panels, but the city may enter into a contract with a vendor to install panels up on the roof. And that would provide somewhere between 85 and 90% of all the energy that's needed for the building. We will also have highly efficient LED lights throughout the building. Does that sort of get at your question?
Any other questions? I did create a handout if anybody wants one. It lists all of the types of activities that run at different times of the day. I think one of the misconceptions about youth services is that we're just after school, but it talks about daytime, afternoon, evening, and weekends. So it gives people a little bit broader if you're not familiar with what we do. And on the back side, it has some information about registration and demographics from the last few years, so that you can see that as well. I'm going to let Kim follow up with any of the process stuff, and then I'll be around if people have any questions.
Yeah, so this presentation will be live on the city website under the mayor's office. There's a tab for the Youth and Recreation Service building, so you can find this PowerPoint presentation as well as the link to the 3D walkthrough that we showed tonight. Again, we will be submitting this same presentation to the City Council in their next packet, so there'll be a second opportunity for a community meeting. In the meantime, reach out to Andy, myself, and we can certainly field any other questions or comments or concerns about the project before we move into the next phase. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It's wonderful to see so many of you out in the audience excited about this project as we are, and we look forward to continuing the conversation. We'll all be around afterwards if anyone